Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of 1000 Gurus with me, your host, J.R. Yona Cruz. So today's guest is Alex Cristal. Alex Cristal was on Kaba Modern from 2010 to 2014, being a coordinator for the last 2 years he was on the team. He was also on Culture Shock LA from 2014 to 2024. He's an HVAC parts specialist, a Jiu-Jitsu amateur, and a Welding amateur. He also enjoys long walks at the beach, solo dates at Disneyland, and has an AMC A-list membership, so he's an avid moviegoer. And he also works out a lot. Like, he's in peak physical form. Just imagine a 5'5", 5'6" Filipino Greek god, and he goes to the gym an impossible 9 days a week in order to achieve those results. I'm not lying. Check out his Instagram. You won't see anything to validate any of those statements. Anyways, this episode was so much fun. Probably the most fun I had recording an episode. And it's probably because Alex and I go back 15 years or so when we first joined Kaba Modern as newbies, and I think we're both about 18 years old. We have similar values and humor, as you can tell, that we just get each other and we love joking around with each other. But this recording was not only fun, but also very insightful as we cover topics like the power of solitude, the power of building a community, knowing oneself, the concept of time, understanding our own emotional states, and what role we play in people's lives and what roles they play in ours. Overall, it was such a deep conversation that rejuvenated my soul in many different ways, and I admire this guy so much, and hopefully we can do a part 2 with some of the gang, our newbie class, sometime in the future. So without further ado, hope you enjoy this episode with Alex Cristal. All right, Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
Nice. You are the second Alex I've had on the show, so I had to update your brief with Alex C.
Cool.
Just a fun fact. I mean, you're also one of, I feel like half of my guests are either like Filipino, female content creators, gay dudes, and you might fit into a couple of them. Stop. I'm sorry. We've known each other for a while, and we're really weird. I think half of my humor comes from my Kaba Modern first year with this dude and all of our oldies and super oldies that were just so out of pocket. And I'm like, I guess this is my life now.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, thanks for being here, Alex. Let's see. Yeah, we go way back. I'll just go into how I know you. So we met in 2010 when we both joined Kaba Modern. I just had Arnell on the show as of this recording.
Cool.
His episode's going live tomorrow or Monday. Yeah. So that was like my favorite episode. Don't tell anyone else, but it was my favorite episode.
Arnell's an amazing
yeah, no, like
being, man.
It's almost expected for his to be like one of my favorites, but to see it and be like, wow, I could go for 4 hours. So his was really good. But so we met on Kaba Modern, our newbie year, first year. We were both first year, same age, and that was 2010. And we danced for about 3 years on Kaba Modern. And then since then, like we see each other every couple of years. Usually it's for June, another guest of mine, usually for her life events. So like her going away, her coming back, her graduating, her getting married, whatever. So it's great to be able to see you every so often. And yeah, our annual holiday parties and whatnot. And I know you're up to a lot of different things, and we'll get into our topics. But yeah, any clarifications on that?
No, dude. I know we don't see each other often, but I know every time we do link up, it's like time has passed, but time has not.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's just an honor to be here because I rarely do things like this, and being asked to, I guess, talk to your audience about whatever it is that you're interested in or just who I am. It's like an honor and a pleasure to be here. So thank you.
Yeah. Pleasure is also mine too. I was telling a lot of people that usually my podcast guests are half the time we're just catching up because I want to reconnect with some of my old friends, but also like I was telling Jesse right before this, it's so crazy how a lot of particularly my Kaba Modern class and all the people I've known through them and other dancers and whatnot in like the Irvine community. But it's crazy to see how 10, 15 years later, how crazy our life journeys have been and how far everyone's come. Obviously you included, but I guess looking back as an 18-year-old, I didn't expect my class to have achieved so many cool things and have done so many cool things. Absolutely. And to look back and be like, wow, what is it about all of us dancers who just do this shit for fun? But then we have these crazy life adventures, something that I want to learn about, which is why I have you guys on the show. Very cool. And just to connect the dots and hopefully share that with the audience. To me, that's been like a really like big pleasure and honor for me. So yeah.
Yeah, dude, I think going on that topic or that mind wrestling of like us being dancers and achieving or just doing things,
Mm-hmm.
I think I can like braggily, I don't know if that's a word, but
Do it.
say this, but
Yeah.
dancers are very in tune with really who they are physically, emotionally. So I think also just the exploration of yourself in terms of music, in terms of art, makes you more, maybe possibly more prone to exploring more to life.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the people that you have on this podcast, or even our class, or the people that you're interested in learning, have done so many different things, because they are very much well in tune with who they are, again, in all different types of levels. So
Yeah.
I think that's great, man.
Yeah, I like that. And something I talked about with Andy as well, Andy Ho, was like, I think it's also on top of that is like the mindset that we get from our mentors, our oldies, the people who guide us. That somehow it seems like it translates a lot into whatever else we do in our career paths, our life journeys, and stuff like that. That I feel like have served me personally very well, and I feel like it served a lot of us well too.
Yeah.
So I think that I can't understate the importance of being in an environment like that where you're so inspired to hit the next level. And I always tell people on like comp teams of this, but if you feel like you're the newbie comes in and you're like, man, I'm the worst dancer here, that's the right room to be in, right? Because
Yeah,
that's
dude.
how it feels. Like you're like,
Yeah.
I feel so inadequate and imposter syndrome, but that's sets you up for like the most growth, because
That's a sweet spot, man.
that's the sweet spot, because you don't want to be in a room where you're the
boy.
best and it's like you're in the wrong room.
Isn't there like a quote where it's if you're the smartest person in the room, you're on the right room or something?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what I'm referencing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think for me, Kaba Modern was like I was
For
in
sure.
the
For
I was
sure.
in the right room for so long,
Yeah.
and that set me up for everything else. And I feel like it's the same for a lot of us.
Ooh, that's a great point, because before I joined Kaba Modern, there were different teams I wanted to try out for, right? There was like Common Ground, especially Common Ground since I was an underground.
Right.
I felt Kaba Modern was the place that I felt was like I can grow the most out here, you know? And even when you were talking about the people that you can outsource with, I think that's also a big reason why I joined Kaba Modern, because the alumni base, what I saw what they did after Kaba Modern was like, wow, they're still doing big things. Not to say that other teams don't do that, but I do know, or I saw a lot
Noticed
of
it a lot.
inspiration and ambition that the alumni had, or different types of people that I'm like, wow, even after Kaba Modern, they were still doing things that I also would like to pursue or even just be interested in. They had a great, strong foundation of the team or who they were on Kaba Modern and also after. I was like, wow, this would not set me up, but I think this would be a trajectory of growth that I could see myself grow into a person that I would like to be, right?
Yeah.
So Kaba Modern did that for me, I think.
Definitely. And I agree with that too. And I'll say on that note too, joining as newbies and being in that class of, okay, I feel like I'm the worst. So disclaimer, Alex was the best of the worst.
Dude.
So of our class of like 12 people, he was at the top of the food chain, man. I was literally at the bottom. I'm like, this motherfucker.
You were not at the bottom, dude.
I was clearly I could do a backflip. That was it. That's how I got at the team.
bottom.
But Alex was at the peak choreographed pieces as a newbie. I was like, this motherfucker, I got to catch up to him.
I do appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
But what I do want to kind of throw it back at you. What I did really admire about you, dude, is that you were always working. And I think I took a lot from that where, I mean, especially like you, Saya, of course, everyone else in our class, but you specifically, I would always see you working on your craft. And I think that also inspired me to be like, dude, JR's putting work. I should also put in work. Because you're on the side, like always freestyling or creating or doing whatever it is that you wanted to get better at, especially, again, your mindset of, oh man, I need to pull up. I need to keep up with my class or my oldies or everyone else returners. That I think I also saw inspiration with that, where damn, JR's also putting in so much like work on the sides, or any single downtime that JR had working on the sides or in the Crawford small mirrors that we had. I think that was like a takeaway that I saw from you, is that you would always work. And I think that was like one of my mentalities of, we can probably get into this with later on in the podcast, where in terms of influence, but I think one of my biggest mottos is don't let anyone outwork you, especially in that kind of environment. And I don't think that, not to say that I outworked everyone, but it was, I think, to a point where I wanted to work as hard as, let's say, you, Saya, we also worked super hard, and everyone else that was part of our class, that I just saw crazy work ethic that I wanted to also implement in my daily rehearsals, or outside of rehearsals or things like that. So,
Yeah.
dude, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And I guess we'll go on more of a Kaba modern tangent, but I also attribute that like our work ethics and where we learned that from, specifically from like our oldies and super oldies. Because I remember watching, right, we go onto the team and we're like, why are these people so amazing?
Yeah.
And you watch them, watch someone like Darren, who's like
yeah, man.
already talented,
Yeah.
a dancer, a choreographer, freestyler, and he's still working the hardest. And he's our director, our coordinator. And we're like, okay, well, if this dude is working hard, what am I doing on the sides?
Right,
You know?
man.
So
Yeah.
it's the environment that we're in that I feel like, again, I think it lends to where we are at life now, or our mindsets on how we achieve or approach things.
For sure. And I think I also relate to that too, where I knew that, of course, not everyone is going to work hard, but I knew that the people that didn't work as hard,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to like be a person where that I knew that, not to be labeled as like a lazy person or anything. But I just knew that I wanted to work just as hard as the hardest worker in the room.
Of course.
Right? And that was, again, Darren, a couple of our oldies, returners, and even like our class. That
Yeah.
you just saw that.
Of course.
And also, even being a newbie, you have to work hard in some environment, but there's another level that you had to push because there was times where I think some of our class didn't work as hard.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But,
it's like, newbies, you guys are fucking up. Like,
Yeah.
it's not me, I promise.
Yeah, like I know my piece, dude. Like,
I've not
come on.
slept in 3 days.
Yeah,
I've just been dancing.
yeah. I know. I've just been practicing.
I see my bed. I'm like, no, I got to dance on the side.
Right, dude. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, some good times, man.
Yeah.
All right, real quick before we get to the first topic, Solomon, I sent a couple of links late in the email. We don't have to get to it, but if we do, if you're able to play it, I know you're doing a lot of things, but they're just Alex's videos. I forgot to send it.
Oh my gosh. Yes,
Yeah, we don't have to get to it. I know it's
Okay.
a lot, but if he's able to, I sent it. But anyways, all right. So first topic, main influences, life journey, family, whatnot. So I guess I always like to start with like connecting the dots. I know like your life journey where you're at now.
Yeah.
What was, I guess, paint a picture for our audience. What was it like growing up for you, your household? Where did you grow up? And then what were like the main influences that led to where you are today?
For sure, man. I think the main influence that I really had in life, well I grew up in Southern California, right? Still live here. But the biggest influence I had was my family. That was huge, staple and foundation of who I am today and how I'm the youngest of 3 siblings, me, my brother, my sister. And I just saw, it was easy for me to follow, quote unquote, in their footsteps, but also I just had that
Cute.
I had that influence of them to see what they did and either take from that or learn from, quote unquote, their mistakes, whatever it is that they felt that they didn't do right or also did right. But I knew that my brother and my sister were the people that I looked up to first. Maybe second, because my parents were the first people I looked up to first. And I don't know, man. It's just like a blessing where my family was just very loving and very thoughtful. I really had no, quote unquote, like real issues or trauma with my family. I mean, natural, like, regular siblingship and
Right.
things like that. But
Regular family stuff.
yeah, but it's nothing to the point where I thought that I had to fix or possibly go to therapy about it or anything like that, right? So luckily, I've been very blessed with a family that is very loving, very successful in ways that I can look up to and be like, man, that's the type of people that I want to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was like the first major influence that I felt of who the person I wanted to be is looking up to my family, especially like my brother, my sister, and my parents. Yeah.
Cool. I know, like maybe I know you've done a lot of different things, and like career path might not be like one of our main topics, but like
Sure.
growing up, what was kind of like your life? I don't want to say purpose, but what was your direction? What were you like? Okay, I'm elementary school, middle school, high school. What were you? What were your aspirations around those times growing up?
Oh man, I wanted to be an NBA player.
Oh, okay. Why just do it? You got the right
Filipinos,
build. You're
man.
Filipino, like
Got the right
you can
build.
sing well.
Sing well.
Just go for it. Man. Shoot for the stars. Chase your dreams.
No, I really wanted to be an NBA player. That was like the first dream that I had. I think also basketball was the first love that I understood, like what love was. Besides loving my family.
Yeah.
Outside of family, basketball was the thing that I was driven and motivated to be because I knew I had a natural talent for it. Like I would play travel basketball when I was in 4th, 5th, 6th grade.
Mhm.
Like go to Indiana, go to Vegas, go to
Mm.
Arizona, San Diego, Florida
Yeah.
to play basketball on his travel team. And I think it also got to a point where my parents wanted me to possibly go to the Philippines to like
To play there, like in their league.
to train and play there, because I believe one of my uncles used to play. I think it's called the PBA, Filipino Basketball Association.
Okay, yeah.
So they were thinking of me like possibly going there. I was also supposed to go to Modern Day for basketball,
Okay.
but I went to Troy High School.
Mm.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
But going back to it, yeah, that was my first driven motivator of achieving a dream that I had as like a kid, is to be an NBA star.
So how long were you doing like basketball at that sort of level or intensity?
I was doing that probably until high school.
Okay, so like from elementary, like what
Yeah,
age?
like maybe 6th grade to not 6th grade, before that, 3rd grade to 8th grade, I believe. Yeah, that was like I wouldn't say like real possibility, but it was something that it could have happened if that was something that I would push for. But as a kid, man, like how do you really know? Maybe some people have that innate with them that they're like, dude, I have to do this. And yeah, it's circumstances too, where I know a lot of NBA players have against situations where, dude, I need to make it out of this poverty situation where I need to really work hard and be this type of person. And not to say I didn't have that, but at the same time, I didn't know as a kid if that would be a possible like trajectory of a career or a life that I really wanted. Because, if my parents asked me like, hey, what do you think about going to the Philippines to play basketball? As like a 6th grader, I'm like, I want to be with my friends. It's like, how do I really make that decision or have like that think process of thinking 30 or 20 to 30 years into that future as like a 6th grader or a 5th grader? It's like tough. So, but no, yeah, that was my first real motivator to be an NBA star. Yeah,
I like that. So I guess a couple of things. So what was like your shift, I guess, focus going in out of high school, going into college? So that's one thing. Or we can go into this other question. It's a weird question, but I'm just curious of your thoughts. But it's, if you had to give yourself like a title, identity, mission statement, or like how would you self-identify?
Yeah, I think in terms of maybe I'll answer both. The first shift, I think, was when I was in high school. I don't know what happened. Maybe I do know, but I lost the love of basketball. I think maybe putting too much pressure on these expectations of myself of I need to be the best or I need to do this X, Y, Z. I just felt like that was something that I really wanted to do anymore. And I think that's why I took up dance, because that's something that I felt that was pulling my heart towards more instead of basketball.
When you met Kobe, did anything change? Did you want to go back to basketball or what?
Oh man, that was such a fun. I mean, in college, I think when you're not like playing at a really high level, I'm like, man, this dream's probably dead.
It's dead. It's in the ground.
Yeah. Even in high school too, if you're not, I mean, yes, you can work super hard and do all the things correct. I think, if you're a star in high school and you're like getting recruits from colleges, I think you would know that, like, hey,
you would know at that point.
You would, yeah. But during high school, I wasn't like recruited or anything like that. I still knew I had a natural ability to play basketball, but again, I was thinking of more of the list of things that might not make me like successful in the NBA, like my height.
What? But Alex, you're like 6'7". Like
Yeah.
If you're listening to the audio, he's so tall. But if you're watching the video, don't watch the video.
Just VFX. I'm just the same size.
Just extend his torso.
No, yeah. I mean, of course, there's like exceptions. Like Muggsy Bogues, I think he was like 5'3". Right?
I see.
So I think that was also maybe a huge motivating factor. But yeah, during high school, I just knew at the time, I don't think the NBA life or even just basketball pursue as a career was something that I really wanted. Digging deep down, I really wanted to do for my future. Yeah.
Cool. We do have the videos. Thank you, Solomon. So on that note, so he shifted from basketball to being a crazy dancer. So I guess we can play one of the next videos. Let's see. So Alex is one of the Filipino dudes. If you just look carefully, I'm kidding. There's a lot of Filipinos on stage.
I'm in. That's true.
You're at the blue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's you too.
That's why I picked this clip.
Oh,
and
you're
we're both in this.
That's
Hey, get it. And that's your brother right there.
right, man. 2011?
Yeah, it's 2011. Wait, did you choreograph this?
Yeah,
What's
me
this?
and Young.
Oh, you and Young. Yeah, that's right. Hey,
Did I put you in this piece?
no, because you hated me, remember?
I did not.
You're like, this
hate
motherfucker's the bottom of the food chain. He's not going to my piece. All right.
Oh, man, I did not hate you, man.
Yeah.
But that's funny.
Yeah, second video? We good? Oh, no. Keep going? Okay, yeah. But anyways,
Thanks
yeah.
for playing that.
Yeah,
That
no.
was a great
Yeah, throwbacks,
flashback.
right?
Yeah.
I
All right,
forgot.
I got one more. I'm going to set it up in a second here.
It's all good. Yeah, I didn't even remember that piece existed or this set, and I watched it like, oh my god, this existed. I think I just
It's crazy that you
formatted
found it, man.
Yeah. No. I think it's because I remembered that you hated me. That's why I blocked it out. Oh, here's more Alex's choreo.
Another piece I did.
Broccoli, right? Yeah, because Alex fucking hates me. That's why. This guy's trash.
2010.
I was even looking if I was in the
welcome.
back of this piece, and I was not.
Oh, welcome week. No,
I did learn it. I learned this piece because I
over
remember.
time I loved you, man.
Thanks.
You know, you were in 300.
It's not. It's not where we start. It's where we end up. No, I remember every time this piece would live rent free in my brain. Just your choreography. I actually, on a serious note, I did really love your choreography because it always made sense. Okay,
Oh,
that was
thanks,
it.
man. Thanks.
Like choreography is cool, but I really like when choreographers match like the intention, the words, the music to the movements.
Yeah.
And there's like a magical sort of like combination of those things that you can tell when you like someone's style. And so I really always liked your style.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Too bad I was never in your piece, so could never enjoy being on stage.
You were in 300 invented sex. Those
to
were
do a flip.
No.
That's why I'm on the team, man. Just to do fucking backflips.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, okay. So we got that out of the way. Oh yeah. Any thoughts on the last thing, which is like, how would
Mission
you
statement?
self-identify a mission statement?
That's a tough question. I don't know specifically like a mission statement. I think live by the couple mottos of leaving something better than you found it. Or another blurb that I think about is, I don't know if I believe in like a heaven or hell, but if there is a heaven, it is here. And if you can, whoever that you interact with, make it a heaven for them. So yeah, I just try to be as kind and nice, and again, be the best version of myself. I think that's like a blurb of my mission statement of life. Yeah.
I can see that. I think that's completely true. So next topic is it's like a conglomeration of things, but hobbies, side quests, solitude, and community. I felt like those kind of lumped together, but maybe I was forcing it. But you mentioned concept of time in quotes. Like I would like to know like what that means or like what direction.
Oh man, I think I have a love and hate relationship with time. I think even just watching those videos, it's like the time has passed so long, and you kind of just think, where did the time go? And it always wraps in my head of, again, how fragile time is, how relentless time is, how unforgiving time is. And even like what you did yesterday felt like it could feel so new, but it could also feel like years ago. And yeah, I'm trying to do better as in staying present in the time right now, like being as present as possible. But I do have a mental tug of war of looking back in the past and looking to my future of how I can use my time the best that I can, time management or XYZ, because I think everything, for me, the most essential asset that you can have in life is time. For me, you can always gain more money, lose money, right? You can health-wise, yes, there's different circumstances with health, but friends, family, but time, it always marches forward. It doesn't stop.
It's a finite resource.
Yeah, man.
You can't renew it.
Yeah, it could bend. There's a quote for like Interstellar, one of my favorite movies. Time can bend, it can slow down, it could be fast, but it never stops. And that's a thing that I am, I don't know, so wrapped in my head about is, again, the concept of time, and also just, I don't know, maybe I'm like suffocating in my hands of how to be like uberly efficient with everything so I can free up my time with this and that, and I need to use like I need to use my time wisely so my future can look like this. Or even looking back at the past, it's like, man, did I use my time like the best that I could in this situation? And did I lose time? Because for me, one of my biggest pet peeves is wasting time. Because again, it's like a finite resource where you can't get it back. That does sometimes dictates the things that I do before I maybe go into maybe a social event or commit to maybe a new career or whatever. It's like, will this be worth my time? Can I use my time more wisely? Because at the end of the life, whenever that is, I don't want to think that I didn't maximize the time that I used here in this physical vessel right now. So yeah, I think that's like a huge thing for me where it's, again, like you said, a finite resource that I constantly think about of, again, like being punctual or using your time as wisely as you can, but also trying to stay as present as I can. Because sometimes for me, when I lose time, I get very fearful and then I get very angry. These qualities of myself that I don't like, it's like, oh man, I'm wasting time, right? Like in traffic, pet peeve, traffic, I'm like, I'm wasting time. Like I could be doing something else. Luckily, though, we live in a world where I can listen to podcasts or music. But yeah, man, time is a huge thing that I just constantly think about.
I like that. I like those reflections. One thing that it made me think of was there's like that Tony Robbins quote where it's like, time is an emotion, meaning, in a different interpretation, like, how time can feel very fast and it can also feel very slow.
Yes.
Right? Like the waiting room of a hospital can feel really slow.
Yeah.
But with someone you enjoy, it could be like over in an instant. So it's like an emotion,
correct.
right?
Correct.
So like I was thinking about that too. And one of the things I've talked about with people before is like, I read in another book called How Do You Expand Your Time? Meaning it is finite, obviously, but in some instances, some people say, wow, where did the years go?
Right.
Where did 2024 go? Because it feels like it just happened in an instant. Whereas some people can be like, wow, my year was so filled. It felt longer than it was compared to other people. And so one of this concept I learned is it's a strategic thing where you purposefully do more novel things in your life. Meaning when you do the tedious, monotonous sort of stuff, time collapses. So it feels like it just went away like that. But when you fill your life with things and activities that are more novel, that you can anchor in time. Oh yeah, I did this big trip in March. And then, in January, I did this other thing. And then in April was my birthday. And then in December, we had this thing. So now time is now expanded because you've had so many things, anchor points in your memory.
Yeah, man.
So now your year feels more full. And that's one of the reasons why I do my yearly reviews with all the things I've done. I take photos, I put who I'm grateful for and all these like achievements. So when I look back, my future self can look, what did I do in 2022? Oh, I did a bunch of shit. Like that expands my year and it makes me feel like I have more time.
Right, man.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a great point is to do things that make you feel so fulfilled that when you do look back, it's like, man, I used my time wisely. Right. And I mean, I'm trying to do better at this, but I know recently I actually just came from like a trip. I went to London and Paris.
Oh, cool.
Like last week.
Yeah.
With like great, amazing people.
Just like for fun.
Yeah. I mean, well, we watched Justice in London.
Wait, what's Justice?
You know that song, the French like DJs.
Oh, it was like a concert.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We went there to watch them in London, and then we just wanted
cool.
to go to Paris.
Yeah.
But kind of going back to like concept of time, that was like useful time that I like to use my time for.
Well spent, right?
Yeah. This is time that I'll be able to spend because again, like reconnected with old friends. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a crazy concept where you look back on all the years, like even looking back at these like videos, where did the time go? And next, 12, 13 years, probably meet up again. Like, dude, remember we did this podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Right? It's, I don't know, man. I even think that it's so crucial to do, I don't know, not everything in a timely manner too, but so many TV shows, so many industries rely so much on time. I haven't finished the show yet, but have you seen the show The Bear?
Mm-mm.
Have you heard about it?
Is it about a bear?
It's about like a cooking kitchen. A bear cooks like ratatouille.
Are you serious?
No, no, but it's like a cooking show, or not a cooking show, but it's like the environment in like a kitchen. And one of their main, I think, mottos is every second counts. And especially in the kitchen, every second counts, right? And I think in a lot of TV shows, reality TV shows, like game shows, it's like time. And, cooks, you have 1 hour to make this meal. Or like designer like shows, like fashion shows, it's always time. Because whenever I think of time, it's like, I hear a lot of people always say, man, I wish I had more time, right? There's so many movies, there's so many books, there's so many friends that I have, like events that I couldn't go to because I didn't have enough time. And I do think a lot of quote unquote successful people use their money for time, right?
Buy back their time somehow.
Yeah. Of course, if you have the money, you put up your own company, you hire employees, so you don't have to do the work.
You can outsource some of that stuff.
Yeah, or you have someone drive for you, right? You have not a limo driver, but like a
driver,
specific driver or a maid or whatever it is, so you have more time to do things that are maybe important, more important. I mean, not to say that those things aren't important, but things that could excel in a way that you feel that you could use more time for. And I always think about that, where it's, can I use my time more wisely? How efficient I can be? And what will, again, make my, when I look back, how would I feel putting time into this thing? And I think that's just something that I just always constantly think about. Sometimes maybe a little bit too much, you know, because it's like
so meta. Thinking about how I'm using my time, spending time thinking about
No, man. Like, it's like, it's even as simple as like scrolling through Netflix. I'm like, man, do I want to pick this? Because it's an hour and 30 minutes of my time. And then
spend the next 2 hours figuring out how I can spend the next 2 hours. I feel it.
Yeah, man. That's a conundrum that I'm trying to figure out. But
yeah,
I think it's good that I'm self-aware.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so I have a ton of questions.
Sure.
And we're running out of time. But so here's my next three, whichever ones you feel like are call to you the most. So first one is hobbies and side quests.
Yeah.
So whatever that means or what kind of direction that you might go for that. The second one is solitude and doing things on your own, like how that is important or what that has played in your own life and your own journey. And or three, being a part of a community and like how does one build or find their own community? And then any important lessons on that.
Ooh, okay. A lot of different topics that I can go into.
Yeah.
First, I think being in solitude and doing things on your own. It's easy for me I can say this because I don't have kids, right? I don't have a girlfriend
that you know of. Kids,
that's
right?
True. That's true. I was going to say joke. It's okay.
Anyways.
But yeah, dude, I don't have those specific responsibilities that I have to, but to use time for those things that fill up in my weekly, monthly, yearly, like responsibility, right? So for me, I like to do things a lot on my own. And this kind of goes into hobbies where I like to go to Disneyland by myself a lot. I like to go to the movies by myself a lot. Go to different events, go to kind of date yourself.
Yeah.
Go to lunch, dinner, breakfast, go to the beach. And I think that hopefully audience members that if you see this have like their own introspective reflection of what makes you do the things that you like to do, what makes you want to do those things, like why you want to do those things. And I think being in solitude and being by yourself really helps you analyze what probably makes like your spirit come alive, or without any peer pressure or outside influences that may affect your decision making of things that you want to pursue, right? And I think that also goes into side quests and hobbies. Like when I was doing a lot of things for myself, I haven't done this in a while, but I took up like Jiu-Jitsu, took up welding. I'm not great at those things, but I think those are like side quests in life that I decided I wanted to do. Not that I knew anyone else did it, but because I think I knew
you were interested.
Very interesting.
Inherently, yeah.
Yeah, and when you do spend time with yourself, you read a lot of books, a lot of articles, a lot of different things, kind of just gather information without yes, those are influences, but not to say that having friends won't influence you, but or would influence you. But I think you tend to have a different type of processing of information when you are by yourself and do things on your own to decide where you want to take your next step in whatever it is that you want to do.
I think that's important too, because I think that's one of the things I also admire about you, and I feel like a lot of the audience can take away is the importance of solitude, I guess is what we're saying. Because I think a lot of people, I think it's fair to say that they're scared of being alone.
Yeah.
And they feel like they need to do things with people, go to the movies with someone, or go to Disneyland with someone and stuff like that. But I think there's inherent value for the audience that sounds very uncomfortable to try to lean into that, because you will introspect more, you will find out more about yourself. And when you have less of those external pressures, like you said,
True.
and you're able to pursue those interests from in like an unadulterated, like non-filtered version of yourself, I feel like you can find more deep fulfillment and self-awareness on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also a big thing that I have done in the past is like zero social media for, let's just say, try it for like a day.
Yeah.
All right. And then try it for a week, and then try it for a month, and then try it for 3 months, and see where really like how you tend to go about your day or go about these things that you might not be like influenced by. Because of course we're very connected on social media. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, this person's doing this. This would be fun. Oh man, my friends are doing this. This would be great.
Yeah.
Right. But when you don't, for me, when I don't have those type of downloading those things onto my mind, for me, I really tend to think like, okay, this is actually what I might be interested in. Let me just go out and try to do it without anyone else's thoughts, which is, I think, a good thing. Could also, be a little bit different for other people, but yeah, that's how I like to operate. Is just try to not feel a societal pressure of me doing certain things because everyone else is doing it.
Exactly.
Find out whatever it is that you're like itching to do.
That is one of my dreams, is to be completely disconnected off of social media. Like literally one of my princess dreams is not ever having to open Instagram or Facebook or anything. Yeah. Unfortunately, like the way my life is set up, it's like messaging and it's to get things done. And I'm on a college team, so I can't get off of it. But that is my goal for the next few years, is to get off social media.
Yes. I mean, I think kind of going into this too, like lead waiting to this other part is, I think social media is great for community, man.
Of course, yeah.
You have a great community that I see you always posting and always showing love to. That's something that I hope that someone or anyone listening to this or whoever, everyone in their life has a community and like a village that they could go back on. And for me, it's like, first my family, right? It's my Kaba Modern class that, I rarely see, but I can always connect with. My Culture Shock dance team that I'm still very connected to, even though I'm not on the team anymore, that I can always feel like I'm a part of something that, again, like inspires me to be a better version of myself or find inspiration that I want to live a type of life with these people around me, And community, I think it's like a huge thing to have. Yes, we're here by ourselves, like in terms of like you living your own life and you spearheading the things that you want to do. But if you can find a community that has a like-mindedness to you and, again, makes you more of who you are, that's like golden, man. It's huge to have that, because as much as you can do like introspective work and do things for yourself, for me, having community to reflect all of those things and to show me sides of me that I maybe did not know or knew, but I didn't want to go through or go into, and help me be the person that I am, is like above and beyond more than I could ever ask for. So if you can find, whoever is listening to this, if you can find like a community for yourself, whether that's, again, dance community, gaming community, I don't know, whatever it is that you find that has a foundational, that, again, to make you a person that you want to be, a better person, the most optimal self for you. Yeah, I think people should try to find that, man. Yeah.
Nice. I like that. It's like the power of solitude, but also the power of community. That's your headline.
That's my mission statement.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, let's move on to this next topic, which is understanding PEMS and Soulmates. So I thought this was interesting because I think we talked about this kind of in our last thing.
We did.
So I wrote this down. physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being.
Yeah.
So I guess if you want to get into how did you come across it, or like what is this concept and how has it affected your life?
Yeah. When I first came across this was culture shock. I think it was during 2020, maybe 2021, when we were not dancing and Zoom meetings.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of different rehearsals talking about our own like well-being and PEMS. I think we call it PEMS, PEMS. It really got me to think how I evaluate my physical, again, my emotional, my mental, my spiritual. Physical is very, I think, clear-cut. Yeah, like how are you feeling physically? Top down from like your head all the way down to your toes. Emotional is, I kind of go like mental first. This is how I define it. Other people maybe define it differently, but mental, I think it's like how you go about maybe your life or your mentality of the things that you are doing, right? It's like, oh man, I want to be better at this. I want to be better at dance, be better at my career. I want to like do all these things. I think it's a great mentality to have. And then I think that reflects back onto your emotional, where like, how do you feel emotionally about your mentality? Yeah, you could want to be better at your career, but is that making you like emotionally exhausted, right? So I think having mental and emotional things are kind of like coincide in some ways. And to me, spiritual, it's what makes your spirit come alive. Like, I think, I'm not sure if a lot of dancers are watching this, but it's that moment before you go on stage. For me, that's when my spirit is like the most alive. Or even going before, like in my car before going to this podcast, it's like that excited, nervous feeling that you have. It's like, man, I know my spirit is alive. So what are those things that you do in life that makes your spirits blossom? And I always try to do my best to evaluate PEMS, my PEMS, in terms of how I'm doing overall, my well-being.
So it's like a check-in for yourself. These are the gauges, the metrics or whatever.
Yeah. And of course it can fluctuate up and down, right? As the days, the weeks, the years go by. But yeah, I think for me, it's like maybe every week, every 2 weeks. Yeah, every 2 weeks or so, I just try to evaluate. Right now, I'm on a physical pillar where I'm just pumping iron and working out a lot. Dude.
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking about, man, Alex is so buff as fuck. He's cut. He doesn't have a lot of fan service photos on his Instagram. But for any single ladies, you can just use your imagination on what's underneath his shirt. So
Thank you, JR, for that plug, man. I appreciate that.
He's top of the food chain. He's so cut. You know what I mean? He loves long walks at Disneyland by himself, but you could be his number 2 if you want.
Oh man, single riders only. Disneyland. At Disneyland. That's really
this is just for me, man. I just want to get on, get off, use my time wisely. I don't need no second person to hold me back. Bro, this line is 2 hours long. Single riders, 30 minutes. Come on.
Right, dude? Right?
I'll meet you outside when we're done.
No, but yeah, I'm really on the physical. I'm really taking care of like my physical dimensional realm right now. And I think, why are you laughing?
Sorry, go ahead. Super serious.
But no, in terms of like the overall like topic that we're talking about is, that's like what I view as what I hope everyone can reevaluate is their PEMS, man. Like, again, what is their physical, what is their emotional, mental, spiritual well-being in terms of daily or even in terms of your relationships with work, your relationship with your friends, your ambitions. Of course, like some things can be emotionally exhausting, but is it like worth it to pursue this? Your mentality can be great, but again, is it like exhausting enough for you that you're like kind of destroying yourself emotionally or even physically or spiritually, that is it worth it? Is it worth it? Yeah. So I always just try to reevaluate all those things in my life. And again, shout out to Culture Shock, because that was a big thing that I learned and felt that it was like important for me to understand.
I like that. Last thing on this topic is soulmates.
Yeah.
So I know this can probably go deep, but this is the last question for this section.
Cool.
So what do you mean by soulmates?
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe in soulmates. I think we talked about this at Cy and Justin's place, right?
So that single girl who's watching this, he doesn't believe in you too. I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to play hard to get right now. That's my game right now. So in my wedding, I'm gonna be like, I didn't believe.
Yeah, I didn't believe it, but
I found you.
I'm dead.
That's my game right now, dude. But as of right now, I do not believe in a specific soulmate that someone can cater to everything that you might be looking for as a partner. We did talk about this too, where I read this somewhere, and I think I talked about this with a friend of mine. I think there's 4 different kind of mates that you can have, right? There's a playmate, someone that you can do activities with, have super amounts of fun. That maybe that's festivals or going to movies, activities, whatever,
like events and stuff or whatever.
Yeah. Then there's a mindmate where you can talk intellectually with. Different conversations about anything and everything intellectually. Soulmates, I think it's someone that you can be like super intimate with, almost like a Romeo and Juliet type of like honeymoon phase that you're like feeling that connection with. And the last one, hold on, soulmate, playmate, mindmate, helpmate.
Okay.
Someone that will help you to achieve the goals and kind of in unison with each other. So let's say achieving your goals of raising a kid or buying a house, or helping you in your career that you want to achieve, or any goals that person that can help you with. And don't get me wrong, if whoever's listening, if you found that someone, great, right? But I don't know if I can say that there is that one person that checks all those 4 boxes. They could check 3, they could check 2, or I don't know if I necessarily believe that even if they do check all those 4 boxes, maybe one of them is like not as prominent or not as like intense as someone else. And not to say that they're not the right person for you, right? But I don't necessarily believe all those 4 mates can be in one person that someone might be looking for in terms of a match like made in heaven. Yeah.
That idea, when you brought it up, has been like living rent free in my head.
Really?
I thought about that a lot. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense, because I've been evaluating my relationships or friendships and kind of like what role they play.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people I invite on this podcast are like, I feel like they're like mind mates,
Right.
or people who I've had these deep conversations with. And that's what it is. We're like a sort of a mind mate, sort of, we resonate at that level. Playmates makes a lot of sense. It's like someone that you like to have fun with, or like you go to events, do things together. Helpmate, I guess that makes sense too. You didn't cover that one last time, but someone that like, I don't see, maybe it could be like a rival, but not necessarily, but someone just helps you to do things, and there's just people in your life who are always there to help, and you help them.
Yeah.
And then soulmate, obviously it's like the most obvious one, but that makes a lot of sense. So and I was thinking about that in relationship sense, which is, I was talking to Andy before, like off camera, which is like I feel like in terms of, we're talking about marriage, because he got engaged recently.
That's right.
Of like girlfriend, wife, and partner of like the mother of your children or something like that. And how in my brain, and this might not even be the right way to conceptualize it, but I see it as let's say they're job titles, that there's like a list of duties, responsibilities, or characteristics that each of them have, but they're not necessarily all overlapping. Someone who might be a good girlfriend could also be a good like mother, but not a good wife, or vice versa. And guys too, obviously, you can switch. So I was thinking about that. It's like, maybe someone doesn't check all those boxes. Maybe they do. And the same thing with the mate sort of idea, where they could check all of them, they could not. But it's a really good way to think about it when you think about these relationships. What role do they play? What do they have? And what do I have, and what role do I play too?
Right. Yeah. I also am trying to understand that too. I think it might just be a perfectionist version of me. Like, man, I want to be all of this for someone. Right. Yeah. But I don't think that could ever be the case. Again, there's different types of people that I know that we talk to or that you talk about. They're like, man, I can have a crazy intellectual conversation, but I would never go to a rave with him.
Yeah, exactly. Or vice versa, or one of the
right. Yeah, it's like, man, I could have so much fun with you, but I can't have like
I can't talk with you.
I can't talk with you.
Friends, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk.
Yeah, and that's totally fine.
It's totally fine, yeah.
Totally fine. In like, I think a relationship sense, it's, I don't know if, again, I've been single for a long, long time. So I might be jaded in terms of thinking that there is one person for me. But yeah, I don't necessarily believe that everything can be encapsulated with this person for you. And I think that's also okay. If you can find someone that hits all of those marks at a specific range, I'm looking at this like data can be like that, but it's like, if you can find someone like that is, you can see a future with, that you can have fun with, that you can help each other be the best version of yourselves, then yeah, like that can be your quote unquote soulmate. But I don't, again, believe that
there's like a perfect person that fits all that. That's just waiting for you.
Yeah, yeah. And if there is
Then great, yeah.
if there is a perfect person, then it might not.
Why are they talking to you then? Saw this, yeah, not to cut you off. I saw this one reel too on Instagram where it was another podcast where he was like, best relationship advice, list out all the things that you would love to have in a partner, like characteristics, values, principles, etc., and then be that person.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like putting it on you, not the I'm looking for my knight in shining armor or whatever, but it's like, why don't you just be that? Because why would that knight in shining armor want to be with you?
Yeah, dude, exactly. And this is kind of going into back in our conversation about solitude, right? It's like you think about the person you want to be, and I always think, who would be the person I would want to date?
Yeah.
Right? So I think that kind of relates to, list out all those things and be that person, because that person will, again, be attracted to that, and you'll find someone, hopefully you find someone that will be that for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Any last thoughts on that topic?
If my soulmate is out there, I'm here.
I just said I don't think soulmates exist, but if you exist, let me know.
But I am here and I'm ready.
I'll be at Disneyland. Check me out on the single riders.
I'll be at Disneyland. I'll be at AMC. I'm an AMC A-list member. So
you know what's funny is if I was single, I probably would be with you because I do all those things myself too. My criteria for finding a girlfriend was like, if she's down to movie hop with me at AMC, like that's already like a green flag.
Right, man.
Yeah.
I haven't found that person yet.
Yeah, that's my first date. It's usually a movie date, even though it's weird, but it's because I like watching movies. So if you don't like watching movies, this can't happen.
No, that's a big point for me too. Having, I think, playmate is like a huge thing for me. I think that's like a huge, again, a staple for me in what I would like in a relationship is to have like fun and to do all those things together. Yes, all those things are important, but yeah, man. Yeah. What are you doing after this?
Yeah. I was about to say to you, like,
yeah,
so if you are a mind mate, he's not looking for you. He just wants a girl to shut up and just have fun. I'm just kidding. Disclaimer. Oh my God, this is so out of pocket.
I love it.
Yeah, same. All right, rapid fire, you ready?
Yeah.
In the spirit of time, I feel like it's just flown and we're already over. Or like we're not over, but we're like at the edge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate it. It was a fun conversation.
Right now.
Okay. Billboard question. If you could put up a sign for millions of people to see, what would it say?
I have a couple, but maybe I'll just stick with one. Yesterday you said tomorrow.
So then.
No, I think I saw
like half of a sentence.
I think I saw it like on a Nike
Yeah.
thing. Like yesterday you said tomorrow. So anything that you're like, man, I'll do tomorrow. Maybe I'll do later.
Yeah.
No, you said tomorrow, so do it now. Whatever you're thinking about, whatever that's like on your mind that you have an interest in, just do it now, man. Like time waits for no one. Do it now.
I like it.
Yesterday you said tomorrow. That's what I think I would put.
I feel like with some close friends of mine, I'll say like pretty much the same thing. And it's that hard accountability that is like, oh, it bothers me. It bothers them so much because I'm like, so you want to do these things? Why haven't you done it?
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm your friend. I care about you. I'm going to ask you this question.
I like that though. I like that. You're a good friend, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people agree, but they don't like that accountability. But
Yeah, it's probably the stuff that they don't want to hear, but they need to hear.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is like a reflection of themselves. That,
of course.
Continue.
All right. So, what is one of the hardest challenges you faced in your life, and what did you learn from it?
Okay, I'm going to keep this short, but I can go for a while. I think I told you about this. I got hurt in a job. Yeah, so for everyone that doesn't know, I used to work in HVAC and refrigeration. And long story short, Islands Manhattan Beach, I was up checking the rooftop or the ceiling for a leak, slipped and fell off a ladder. Yeah. Fell like 7 to 8 feet or so. Jeez. Yeah, broke my back, broke part of my back. Damn. Didn't need surgery, but I think from that experience, because I was like resting for a while, and it was maddening to me because my whole life, all I knew is how to produce physically, right? Like basketball, like first 15 years of my life, like physical production, right? 15 to maybe 30 dance, like that's how you produce value. So I think when I was hurt, like that was probably my most serious injury, is trying to reevaluate or rewire my mind into not overthinking, oh man, I need to be back on the field so I can produce, so I can like have value. So I think that was like a huge lesson of mine of not being so hard on myself to not produce in a physical manner. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Or switching my mindset of what I find value in not the physical
Right.
sense.
Yeah, not just that.
Yeah.
All right, self-inflicted wound. Do you have a story about something that's gone wrong in your life that it is your own fault and you can't blame anyone else?
Probably the story that I just told, like when I got hurt, I was like, man, did someone like push this ladder to one of like the islands workers push this like ladder or
Fuck Alex.
Yeah.
Put me in his piece.
It was you. I saw the
I
tape.
want it to be in broccoli.
I saw the tape. No, yeah, like was the ladder? I was thinking like was the ladder like wobbly?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to. Those I think were like initial thoughts because I don't like
just trying to find a reason.
Yeah, of like this traumatic experience, but I definitely put blame on myself. Like, yo, this was me. Whether it was an accident, like not say I did on purpose, right? But whether it was like just a freak accident that just happened, this is my own doing, and I need to kind of go through it and figure out how I can move forward from it. Like, I'm okay now, I'm totally good, but I think during that time it was just like really hard to find. I didn't want to blame. I came to a point where I didn't want to blame anyone but myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, 7-8 feet. That's scary, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Man, I'm already scared of heights. I rock climb and I'm like, I look down. Wait, I just remembered I'm scared of heights. What am I doing?
It's exposure therapy, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're okay, man.
Thank you.
If you could redo one thing, what would you have done differently besides put me in your piece?
If I could redo one thing, this is a great question. Because I don't like to think that I regretted anything.
Of course, yeah. Most guests don't, but like, I guess, thought experiment.
If I could redo one thing, it's probably maybe like actually look into being an NBA star as a kid.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if that was like the question, but
fine.
if I could go back in time maybe as a 5th, 6th grader, I could like try to pursue this. I don't know. That's just.
So possibly like kind of like pursue it a little bit more.
Yeah.
A little bit harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. If you could give your younger self advice, what would it be now? Any age, any time period?
If I could give myself advice is to, let me start this off differently. Talking to my younger self, time, money, and energy are never free. Never give it away freely or use those things like wisely and think about how to use them, not to say to your advantage, but to make your life a little bit more fulfilling. Yeah, that's what I would say.
In the last few years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has improved your life?
I think it has to do with new belief. I think it's probably the Soulmates thing. Not to say like it super changed it, but I think it just reevaluated a lot of my relationships with how I see myself in that relationship and also like how that person is into my life. I think that changes how, I don't want to say I categorize people in this, right? Yeah. That might be like
oversimplifying, yeah.
But I think that does just help not to overthink or deeply think of how this person can provide for me. Yeah. It's, oh man, they might just be my playmate and that's totally fine. Yeah. If they hit on other things, then that's even better. But yeah, I think that's like a belief that has kind of changed the way that I want to say view people, but yeah, evaluate
the way you see things.
Yeah, and also who I am to them, right? Like, not to take it personally. Oh man, I really want to have this conversation with this person, but if they might not see me as a mindmate, then that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I like it. I mean, same here. It's only been like a few months, but I've been thinking about that a lot too.
Yeah.
Who do you call successful, and how do you define success?
Who do I call successful, and what do I find? How do I
define success?
Let me answer the second question first. I think I define successful is if you can, almost like that quote, fall 7 times, stand up 8. If you have like resilience, determination, and discipline, I think that's what I find successful. And also, if you are doing what your spirit calls for you to do, or pushing your ambition and goals in a healthy and good way, then I would find that successful in terms of how you live your life. It's not even about what you do. It's just like about how you do it.
Right.
That's what I find successful. So does
anyone come to mind that might kind of fit that criteria?
To not be weird about it, but I find you successful, man.
No, thank you.
Yeah, like you doing this podcast is like you having an itch. Like I've always known that you've always been so knowledgeable and wanting to do like something like this because you read like a ton of books and process so much information. It's like, dude, let me try to set this up and do this like thing that I've always wanted to do. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I find successful is pursuing things that your soul kind of or your spirit calls you for. Right? Yeah, like having those life experiences that you might not know if it will work out or not, but you give it a shot. That's like success to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's crazy because Jesse right before this said the exact same thing with the 7 times, 8 times up.
Oh, really?
I was like, what the? It's this like
Whoa.
deja vu. I'm like, you guys are pretty much the same thing.
That's cool.
And the whole pursuing what makes you happy, same thing. Maybe it's just common denominators with
Could be.
successful people.
Yeah.
If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you try or what would you be doing right now?
Oh, yeah. Right now, if I knew I couldn't fail, I would be in the NBA.
It's that theme, man. You could just go for your dreams.
I would be in the NBA. Yeah, that was like probably like a childhood dream that I've always thought about.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not of age anymore.
Yeah.
But
Not that attitude, but yeah, you know. could be playing with LeBron James right now, man.
Oh, man.
Let's try out tomorrow. What is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you've ever made in either time, money, energy, etc.?
One more time. Sorry.
One of the best investments you've ever made in any of those areas?
Best investments, I think, is I don't know if it's anything like tangible or like things, but invest your time, again, money and energy into your community, your friends, your family. Those things are invaluable in this life. You know, things, the people that you surround yourself with that make your life more fulfilling. Yes, we are living in life for yourself and for you, but yeah, if you can, like, I don't know, it's like putting, I forgot where this concept came from, but it's like putting, like, you have piggy banks of different things, right? It's like putting a piggy bank into your friendship when you can reconnect with someone or hang out with them or spend quality time with them, or even investments of, I just started doing this. I should have done this a long time ago, but no tangible thing like Roth IRA, right? I think that's like a huge thing that I think most, like, if you do have the funds to do it, you should do it now.
Yeah,
especially if you're young.
Yeah,
right?
sooner the better.
Yeah, so I think that's also huge. Yeah, another tangible thing is to invest as much in terms of your, not safety, but in comfort and safety. So anything that protects you from the floor, I think you should invest in, like great shoes.
Oh, okay.
Great bed.
Oh, I see.
Tires.
Yeah.
Right? Those things you'll thank yourself later. But I think most importantly, invest your time, money, and energy to friends, family, community.
Relationships.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. What is your favorite recent purchase of around $50 to $100 that has impacted your life the most in the last 6 months?
Yeah. I don't know the last 6 months because
Any time period.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I actually don't buy too many things, but it's funny because protect myself from the floor.
Oh, is it
It's like an insole.
Oh, insole. Yeah.
This is like a move insole. I think a lot of NBA players wear it.
Yeah.
but
Because you're in the NBA.
I'm training right now.
Is it for posture, preventative of misalignments, or what do you use it for?
I just use it for
comfort.
There's I think different types of them. This one is like for, I think the one I'm wearing might just be for basketball.
Okay.
But or like sports or whatever. But
Yeah.
there could be one for everyday use.
Yeah.
For me, like ever since I've used these, like my feet feel great after every rehearsal or after long walks alone in Disneyland. Like I feel
Long walks around AMC.
man, to the concession stand, just the AMC list, like line, just by myself. No, I feel my feet feel great, and I think having that investment of taking care of. I mean, we walk every day. Yeah. Yes, most of us do. It's a great investment that I think it's. I mean, these are a little bit pricey for insoles. You can get like Dr. Scholl's for like $15, but these are like $60. But it did change the way my feet felt, especially if you're an active person.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ladies, he invests in high quality insoles, so just letting you know.
I'll get some for your heels.
Yes. All right. Any favorite books? Last question. Favorite books, movies, videos, articles, media, or anything that you share or recommend the most?
Favorite movie, I think right now is Interstellar. concept of time
Classic.
is interstellar is crazy to me. This might not relate to many women out there, but I do tend to look up The Art of Manliness by Brett. I think Brett and Kate McKay, something like that. I think it's just great insight of how to like your role as a man in the society, or like even XYZ. But I mean, yes, women can also read it too.
Of course.
That was great. Yeah, those are two that popped into my mind. Interstellar, that, and shoot, there was one other thing that I thought of too. But
if you figure it out, we can link it in the show later. But yeah, I'll link those two for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. That is a rapid fire.
Thank you for having me, dude.
Yeah. We have ending questions now. So we'll end with gratitude like I always like to do. Yeah. So shout out to my mom. So Alex, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful to be healthy, to have a community village around me where this kind of goes into your question of what is successful, or not like who is successful, but what is successful. I think I'm successful in ways where I have people that are always supportive, and friends and family that like look after me, look after my well-being, even when I'm happy or like sad, regardless of the case. They're always just looking out. So I'm grateful to be healthy, to able to move, like to dance, to work out, to be in this physical vessel that I'm able to do things, and also have people around me that, again, are loving, considerate, respectful, and all those great qualities. That's what I'm grateful for. Yeah.
Cool. I love it. All right. Any final ask from the audience, or any final takeaways you'd like them to have from our conversation?
Final ask, I would like for you all to think about how you use your time, to be self-aware, to understand yourself as thoroughly as possible. Not be too self-aware, but to just be more introspective of who you are, what you are, why you do the things you do, how you do the things you do, and to try to be your best optimal self, whatever that defines you, and how to live your life. And last thing, keep watching this podcast, keep watching these videos. Yes. JR is a dear, dear friend of mine, and I do have high respect of people, especially my friends, that have an interest and go pursue it and want to include their friends, and highly like people that he feels that are worthy to be on this podcast, that can share information that someone you might out there that might find this whole thing great, or even one thing great, or in another different podcast. So keep watching like this great content.
Thanks, man.
Of course.
Appreciate it. Coming from the better version of me, who is also single, so All right, Alex, where can, if people want to check out what you're up to, where can they find you? Like handles, websites, Hinge profile, like whatever. Where can they find you?
No, I'm really on Instagram, but my Instagram is at Alex Cristal __. So I think that's probably might be the only place, because I'm a very private person.
Yeah,
I don't like to share too much about my life.
Unless you're soulmate, then they'll find a way to you.
But no, that's like the only handle that I have that you can find me at. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. All right, Alex, thank you so much for being here. We have
been
come
an honor,
to the end.
man.
I appreciate it. Like you said, time, it feels like it flew by.
Yeah, it did.
Talking for hours, but
we can.
Maybe part 2 then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. So I'll sign off now. So thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Reminder to be kind to yourself and others, yourself especially. And remember that you can always learn something from someone if you just take the time to listen. So thanks for being here.